Welcome back to my 6th session of lecture on suspension systems. I am Professor Adimurthy, Faculty, Department of Automobile Engineering, BLDES Vachana Pitamaha, Dr. P.G. Halakatti, College of Engineering and Technology, Vijayapura, Karnataka. In the earlier classes, we have discussed various types of suspension systems, and in this session, we are going to discuss the various construction and functional details of the shock absorber. It may be a hydraulic shock absorber and gas pellet shock absorber. Now, what is a shock absorber? Why it is necessary in a suspension system? So, in a suspension system, a springing device must be a compromise between flexibility and stiffness. If it is more rigid, it cannot absorb the road shocks efficiently. And if it is more flexible, it will continue to vibrate even after the bump has passed. So, we must have sufficient damping of the spring to prevent the excessive flexing. In fact, the name shock absorber is rather misleading since it is the spring and not the shock absorber that initially absorbs the shocks. The shock absorber absorbs the energy of the shock converted into vertical moment of the axle by providing damping and dissipating the same into heat. Thus, shock absorber serves to control the amplitude and frequency of the spring vibrations. It cannot support weight and it has zero resilience. Therefore, damper is a better term technically to describe the shock absorber. So, to maintain the flexibility and the stiffness of the suspension system, we need to have a damper, and the damper is generally known as shock absorber, even though it is a misnomer. Basically, there are two types of shock absorbers: friction type shock absorber and hydraulic type shock absorber. Of course, the friction type has become almost obsolete due to its non-predictable damping characteristics. And the hydraulic shock absorber is most widely used in almost all automotives. It may be a light-duty vehicle or it may be a heavy-duty vehicle. So here, we are going to discuss about the shock absorber, the functioning, the working and the construction of a shock absorber, particularly the telescopic hydraulic shock absorber. Now, we already discussed why a shock absorber is required, and now why this is called as a telescopic shock absorber. If you observe the construction features of these shock absorbers, it is like a tube-in-tube structure which was similar to the tubular shape of the ancient telescopes. So, it is commonly known as a telescopic type of shock absorber, a tube-in-tube kind of arrangement. Basically, there are two kinds of telescopic shock absorbers. One is the monotube shock absorber and another one is twin-tube type of telescopic shock absorber. So here we are going to discuss about the construction and working of a monotube shock absorber, which is used generally in light duty vehicles, particularly in motorcycles and all. You can find this kind of shock absorber or damper. Here this sketch represents the functional diagram. This is the functional diagram of a monotube shock absorber, where you can find a tube D tube represented by letter D, and the inner one is the cylinder, and in the cylinder you can see valve A and valve B. Valve B is located at the bottom of this cylinder D, whereas valve A is connected to the piston rod G, and it is communicating with the F, which is nothing but the I. So F is communicating with the chassis frame and this E is communicating with the wheel. So it is the communication or connection between the wheel and the chassis frame. So, if you go through the details, rod G is attached to 2A valve. So, it is a two-way valve and it is attached to the lower end of the cylinder. So, one more two-way valve is a valve B. It is attached to the lower end of the cylinder. And hydraulic fluid is available in between valve A and valve B and also above this valve A surrounding this piston rod. And also in the annular space, this annular space between the cylinder and the tube. And here H is nothing but a gland, and this hatched portion represents the guide rod, and G is the guide, and this small hatched portion represents the absorber oil seal. So this is oil seal, this is the gland, and H is the gland in the head J, and any fluid scraped off by the rod so will be moving through G. IE is connected to the axle. So this is connected to the axle where we are mounting the wheel, and F is connected to the chassis frame. As I told you, this F portion is connected to the chassis frame. So for the hydraulic fluid that we are using in this shock absorber is generally a mixture of 60% transformer oil and 40% turbine oil. So the same arrangement is shown here in the cut section. So this is the oil seal, this is the guide rod guide, and this is the piston rod, and here the oil will be, hydraulic oil will be there, and this is the piston valve A, and this is the bottom valve corresponding to the valve A and valve B, and this is communicating with the axle, and here it should be communicating with the frame. Thus, these are the important functional elements of a shock absorber. Now let us see how the shock absorber actually works and the shocks are absorbed. So we observed how the things are arranged in a hydraulic shock absorber. So one end of the shock absorber is connected to the axle and it is in communication with the wheel. So as wheel moves up and down, the axle also moves up and down, and the end E will be moving up or down. See, when a vehicle moves across a bump, the IE would move up, thereby the fluid will pass from lower side of valve A to upper side. So if you go through the arrangement once again, you can see here, this is the valve A and this is the valve B, and this is V which is connected to the wheel. When the wheel moves in the upward direction, it pushes the valve B also in the upward direction. So the fluid available between the valve A and valve B gets pressurized, and through this two-way valve, the fluid will be forced above the valve A whenever the vehicle passes over a bump. Since the volume of space A above A is less by the volume of rod G, fluid will also exert pressure on the valve assembly B and go to the underside of the valve B, tube D, to the tube D. Means here when you observe, this volume is greater when you compare this volume above valve A and below valve A. Above valve A, some of the space is occupied by this piston rod, so that much volume will be less when you compare with the volume available below the valve A. So whenever the oil is pushed upwards, so here some of the pressure is also applied on valve B and oil is pushed down through valve B and it enters below the valve B into the cylinders of the tube. So similarly, for downward motion of I, whenever suddenly the wheel moves into a ditch, the fluid will pass from upper side of the valve assembly A to the lower side of the valve assembly B to its upper side. This passing of fluid through the valve opening provides the damping effect. So whenever the wheel moves up and down, when wheel moves up, the oil moves from lower portion of valve A to upper portion of valve A. Similarly, when the wheel is moving in the downward direction, the oil is moving from the upper side of valve A to lower side of the valve B, and while doing so, it is changing the pressure of the oil between the two valves, and it is in other way, it is absorbing the shocks due to the caused by the vibration of the wheels. So this is called as damping action provided by the particular kind of shock absorber. The second kind of shock absorber is a gas-filled shock absorber. So these gas-filled shock absorbers are nowadays very common in the two-wheelers, particularly the bikes and sports bikes. This kind of the shock absorber with a canister is very common in the motorcycles. The cut section of this shock absorber is shown, similar shock absorber is shown here. So here the damping action is taken care of by the combination of the gas as well as the hydraulic fluid. And here this canister, the cut section is shown here. It consists of a bladder and the nitrogen gas is filled in this bladder. So the pre-maintained pressure nitrogen gas will be stored in this bladder, and there is a valve which is called as a compression adjuster. By adjusting this compression, the fluid, the nitrogen gas that will be entering this particular shock absorber chamber above this hydraulic oil will be changing, and remaining function of the shock absorber is similar to that of the shock absorber we have already discussed, and the same thing is schematically represented here. You can see this is the cylinder and the tube, and this is one valve, and this is a valve is called as a free piston valve, and here one valve is there, it is a piston valve, and this is a free piston, and instead of a valve we have a free piston, and here it is a piston valve, and this is the piston rod, and this is the upper cover, and this is the portion which will be communicating with the frame, and this portion of eye will be communicating with the axle. So here the position of the pre-piston is maintained by the change in the pressure or difference in the pressure between the hydraulic fluid above this piston and the nitrogen gas that is available below this free piston. So whenever the hydraulic pressure is more, the piston will be moving in the downward direction, and similarly whenever the gas pressure is more, the piston will be moving in the upward direction, and the position is maintained by the pre-piston position is maintained automatically by the change in the position of the wheel. So what are the advantages of using this gas-filled shock absorber? The first advantage is the full diameter of the tube can be used as a working chamber, and large volume becomes available for damping because of the reduction in the volume is not there above the piston and below the free piston. And larger volume of oil is available in any one stroke because of the adjustment between the gas and oil volumes provides better facility for damping force. And here the tolerance to the heat in the gas-filled shock absorber is greater in comparison to only the oil-filled shock absorber. Gas-filled shock absorber gives longer life to tires because of better riding conditions. Gas-filled shock absorber is designed to reduce the foaming of the oil, which improves the damping qualities. And the disadvantage is atmospheric conditions affects on the system. Cost of nitrogen gas is more as compared to hydraulic oil. Maintenance is difficult as compared to hydraulic shock absorber system. Even though slightly the cost is more, the ride comfort is better in case of the gas-filled shock absorber systems. So nowadays, most of the motorcycles, particularly the sports versions, are being used with these Nitrox gas-filled shock absorbers.